Pollyanna lost her mother early, and her father remarried to gain a male heir. After the birth of her stepsister, her father and her stepmother decided to pass on the family name and fortune to one of their daughters. It was no surprise it wasn't Pollyanna. Pollyanna lived in Ahus, a northern African kingdom, where wars led to death. A new law limited participation to direct family members or heirs. Pollyanna, born into a mediocre noble family in Ahus, was chosen to serve in the military for her stepsister Liana to inherit the title. Pollyanna was resigned to the harsh life of a knight, with short hair and pants. Ahus was the only country allowing women to fight in wars. Pollyanna became a knightess and was advised by her teacher to abandon her knighthood to avoid death. Her father, however, believed it was her duty to die so her sister could inherit the family title. The old knight warns that if caught by enemies, a woman holding a sword could be raped, as they were considered soldiers, and it could be someone in the knight's own army who rapes them. Women were often considered bad luck in battles, and many were murdered by male soldiers. Despite her circumstances, she continued to strive for success, despite the ridicule and lack of recognition she received from men. Her current focus was survival. Pollyanna survived 6 snowfalls during the war and became the head of a small army. Despite her warnings, her superiors ignored her, and her base was surrounded by Achaean soldiers, with some Ahus soldiers escaping. When she realized her base was under a sudden attack, she immediately ordered the soldiers under her command to retreat. Pollyanna now had to figure out what to do for herself and her men. Pollyanna realized that despite everything, she cared about them. Achaean soldiers captured Pollyanna. They bind her with a rope. A knight removed her helmet, and she met the Emperor of Acrea. The emperor discovers that Pollyanna is a woman, causing shock among the soldiers. They mock her and her country for sending a woman to fight, and she screams for her life. Lucius, the first, reads military documents from Pollyanna, a platoon leader, which revealed her loss of position. Lucius I searched for her proposals, reports, and tactics, wanting her in his team. Lucius I discovers that Pollyanna is fighting back against his soldiers. Despite being expected dead within half an hour, she still lives. Lucius asks Pollyanna to become his knight and follow him to conquer the continent and become the first ever emperor. He likes those who make an effort and has worked hard to achieve this goal. The emperor, Lucius I, acknowledged her as his knight, stating that she would protect him with her life and honor. This moment marked the beginning of Pollyanna's lifelong journey, as she pledged her loyalty to the emperor. During a meeting to discuss conquering Ahus, Pollyanna raised the topic of Kukta, causing disbelief among the knights. Pollyanna suggested that the emperor conquer Ahus and Kukta simultaneously, causing a stir. She devised a well-planned attack on Kukta, a weakened enemy. With extensive research and experience, she aimed to finish off Ahus and conquer Kukta efficiently. Men protest against a woman's plan to divide their military force and attack 2 different countries, accusing her of betraying their country and attempting to kill them all, despite her potential for sabotage. The emperor asked about her confidence in her plan. Pollyanna assures him that it will be a piece of cake, despite the protests from the men. The emperor left immediately. She stayed behind to study Achaean military laws and cultures, planning future battles with other nations. Lucius I successfully made the 2 kingdoms surrender, with Ahus emperor kneeling in front of him and Kukta's emperor kneeling before Serbentier, the head of the Achaean army, invaded Kukta. The next to invade is Babero, located south of Ahus and Kukta. Pollyanna, unfamiliar with water battles, needed to learn a different tactic. She requests a map of an area and a few days to explore a myth about a man crossing a river to get medicine for his sick son. Pollyanna receives a map from Lucius I and decides to explore nearby towns with Donau. Lucius I, upon receiving Pollyanna's message, marked an area near the main Babero military base. Despite the potential danger, he admired Pollyanna's initiative and wanted to relocate her to a different department upon her return. Pollyanna and Donau reported to the knights that crossing the Komong River was possible. Pollyanna celebrated the victory of Lucius I's army crossing the Komong River, replacing the Babero flag with the Achaean one, showcasing her pride.